The X35G is subsequently a welcome revisitation of a more aggressive sort of phone design from the name that used to be a sign of value, flaunting an aluminum frame, a high refresh rate screen, and a 50-megapixel camera. It has large numbers of the mod cons expected of a top-notch mid-range gadget. Notwithstanding, the opposition hasn't stopped either, and the X35G should do a great deal to stand apart from the pack. Design and screen. Plastic back, level screen with an indent. Generally tough form quality. A ton of time has elapsed since Nokia was known for being at the front of phone design. In the times of Lumia and previously, the Finnish firm had gained notoriety for making phones that were stunningly hardy as well as very premium as well. All the more as of late, design has not been an essential worry of the restored brand, which has put an accentuation on solidness to the detriment of being covetable. In this way, it's cheerful news that with the X35G, the story has started to improve, aping any semblance of the exemplary Lumia 925. This phone has aluminum side rails and a plastic back that features these materials, meaning the plastic is matte and wonderful to hold, while the rails are cleaned and prominent, contrasted with any semblance of the X10 and X20 from last year. This is a Nokia phone that feels as though some serious idea went into the design. Two variety choices are accessible: overcast blue and ice white. At 185 grams, it has heave and presence without being too block-like, and the 8mm thickness and 6.4 inches screen mean it tends to be serenely utilized. One gave, supported impressively by its pleasant equilibrium in the hand. The design here is achieved, and the boldest explanation of plan from the new Nokia brand starting around 2017. It knows how to do top of the line, and I trust there will be something else to come from now on. Alongside this new design approach, there's a re-established center around manageability. This gadget is supposed to be Nokia's most eco-accommodating phone to date, with its aluminum case being made of 100% reused materials, and the plastic back make of 65% reused materials. The bundling has additionally been decreased, as the case is 100% FSC confirmed and is made of 75% reused materials. However, the X35G is quite possibly the earliest gadget to be accessible on Nokia's roundabout membership administration, which intends to urge clients to clutch their phones for longer and let the gadget be reutilized or reused a while later, by the utilization of month-to-month speculation motivations towards a scope of economical causes. Having said that, tragically the actual gadget isn't all daylight and rainbows. My survey unit endured a seriously difficult issue with its charging port, which wouldn't acknowledge a few other USB-C links, just charging with one specifically. This might be an issue restricted to that solitary unit, yet at the same it's alarming regardless. Tragically, the gadget sports a mono speaker, rather than involving a similar sound system choice as a large part of the opposition. Things improve with regards to the presentation. For quite a while, Nokia has adhered tenaciously to 60Hz LCD boards that have finished the work yet have not stayed up with its opponents as far as perfection or difference, even at essentially lower costs. Subsequently, it's uplifting to see the X35G matched with a 1080p 90Hz OLED show that shows great tones and gets sufficiently splendid to battle serious daylight. Albeit the refresh rate doesn't go very just that high of its rivals. The contrast somewhere in the range of 90Hz and 120Hz is immaterial by and by. While the absence of 1 billion colors didn't affect the survey experience one scribble, the 1080p goal, combined with the moderately little screen, implied that content was sharp. Perusing specifically was a wonderful encounter. The screen is totally level without any bends on the sides. The X35G has a showcase that won't inconvenience any semblance of Samsung or Realme mid-range gadgets, yet it will do the trick for general use for a great many people. Camera. 2 back camera modules. Principal sensor has 50 megapixels. Scene advancement is dynamic as a matter of course, as well as design. The exemplary Nokia was known for its camera performance. Any semblance of the N8, the PureView 808, and the Lumia 1020 were developed around their cameras starting from the earliest stage. Their heritage can be felt in a gadgets right up till now. Obviously, the X35G is a totally different phone than any of those. However, it has a few promising qualities in the camera division, the most significant of which is the consideration of optical picture adjustment on the vitally back module. The presence of this element is a long way from a given at this cost range and can mean critical improvements to low light performance. The actual sensor has 50 megapixels and an opening of f1.8. It's flanked by a 13 megapixel f2.4 ultra-wide focal point, and the forward-looking camera is 16 megapixels with an opening of f2.4. There's little here of the showcasing bump that goes with a large number right now. No 2 megapixel full-scale focal point. No man-made intelligence quad cam, simply an emphasis on the focal sensors. Pictures taken are binned to 12.5 megapixels. Performance. Run Snapdragon 695. The company's 6 GB of RAM and 128 GB of stockpiling naturally runs for the most part stock Android. Naturally, a couple of corners should have been sliced to arrive at the X35G's mid-range cost. One of those corners was the processor utilized. The Snapdragon 695 is another SoC, manufactured by means of a cutting-edge 6nm process and designed for mid-range smartphones. In the X35G, it's joined by 6 GB of RAM and 128 GB of UFS 2.2 capacity as a matter of course. This might appear to be fine and dandy. Yet a portion of the opposition offer any semblance of Snapdragon 888 at a similar cost, a critical move forward regarding power. Performance is really great generally, which would be considered normal overall use. The Nokia X35G flies along. There's little in the Android interface that can give a cutting-edge phone any reason to worry, and that proves to be the situation here. At the point when the image moves to benchmarks, things become somewhat less blushing. With a solitary center score of 678 and a multi-center score of 1916 in Geekbench 5, it doesn't do a lot to challenge the large young men, albeit engineered benchmarks are for the most part not intelligent of genuine use. In genuine use, the phone powers through most applications without an excess of trouble, with the proviso that gaming is an alternate inquiry. In the event that you are a standard client, somebody zeroed in on the fundamentals, like informing, GPS and streaming. The Nokia X30 will prove to be a trustworthy buddy. Nonetheless, the people who invest a ton of energy gaming on their smartphones will probably have to search out an all the more remarkable choice. Any semblance of PlayerUnknown's milestones and Genshin effect can run, and try and accomplish decent frame rates here yet, with fundamentally diminished picture quality. Battery life, 4200 mAh battery, fit for 33-watt fast charging, no charger included. Since the halcyon days of Nokia's strength, there have been a few clear improvements in the smartphone field, not least in battery duration. A decade prior, a gadget could endure about a day with light to moderate use, while now, the image has improved fundamentally, with the best ready to make it into a second or even a third day. So where does the X35G demonstration respect to battery duration? The circumstance is generally great, for certain little provisos. The 4200 mAh battery matched with a moderately little screen and a power-tasting processor permits the X30 to overcome an entire day of normal use much of the time. In other words, with around an hour of GPS, blended media use over the course of the day and consistent informing, it was feasible to get from 7 to 22 prior to surrendering the Phantom totally. Those with various use examples would obviously see various outcomes, yet generally speaking, this will be more than sufficient. Finally, thanks for watching this video. See you again next time.